Polygon was one of the worst performers in the last years, but suddenly it wakes up again. The question is why? Who's buying here? Who's selling here? What are the news that are driving this rally? Let's have a look at the data most people are not looking at. In the last month, we went up by 43%. We are currently at 17 cents, while Bitcoin at the same time just went flat. This is the long-term Matic US dollar chart. We peaked at $2.80 at the end of 2021. And since then, there was way more pain than gain. So this is the linear scale. Once we change to the logarithmic scale, which now gives us constant percentage changes for vertical differences, it appears as if the current rally of roughly 80% still gives some space for the upside, because in the past we have seen rallies of 180%. Now, here is why I do not like using US dollar charts. The problem is that crypto is highly correlated, right? When Bitcoin and Ethereum goes up, then most of the altcoins go up as well, including Polygon Matic. Now, a lot of this rally, the 180% rally, was just the general market going up. What I like much more is to look at how is an asset doing relative to Bitcoin, relative to other altcoins, because then we can see how a particular asset is performing relatively speaking. Is it really outperforming? Is it worth the additional risk? So when we don't use the US dollar chart, but we look at Matic relative to the others market cap, so that's the market cap of all the altcoins that are not in the top 10, then this current rally looks very, very different. Relative to the rest of the altcoin market, the peak in Polygon Matic happened at the beginning of 2023, not at the end of 2021. So Matic did go down since 2021, but it went down less than the rest of the altcoin market. Really, the sell-off started at the beginning of 2023, and the current rally compared to the rest of the altcoin market is actually the most we have ever seen during the last 3 years. Every time when we got a rally, we subsequently sold off, but none of those rallies have been as extended compared to the current one. The biggest rally was probably this one over here, a relative gain compared to the rest of the altcoin market by 42%. And so is this finally the turnaround? Can Polygon Matic now outperform, or are we going to see another sell-off? Let's first try to figure out what's actually causing this rally here. Here is what CoinMarketCap's AI is giving us. The announcement of a new project, a payment infrastructure project, a token burn of 3 million POL, and a technical breakout. Now, we've already talked about the technical breakout. What about the token burn? 3 million when the total supply is 10.5 billion really doesn't make any difference at all. So clearly this is not driving the rally either. It could be the announcement of the new payment infrastructure project. Here is the news article, but it's still plans. It's nothing that has already been shipped. Open Money Stack is intended to support stablecoin-based payments, but it's expected to launch later this year. An announcement that has been made 2 days ago. And that's also when the rally in Polygon started. Now, in general, it's positive that Polygon is still developing new technology, but usually sustained price growth has to come from adoption, not just from plans of a future project. Close to 50% of price growth in the matter of just a few days. I'm not sure if that's justified. There must be another explanation as well. Here is what I think is going on. This is the Polygon price on an hourly chart. And what we see here in this crash, that's the 10th of October. Many altcoins crashed on that day and then very quickly recovered. The automated market makers, the trading bots, they bought up this very cheap supply. By the way, if this is not your very first time watching this channel, then feel free to subscribe over here. I publish videos regularly, and when you're subscribed, YouTube is more likely to recommend the videos of this channel again. But a lot of longs got liquidated on that day. Many people that were betting on rising prices lost everything just because of this very short-term price distortion. What that liquidation then led to is a change in the balance of longs versus shorts. We see this in Polygon Matic. We also see this for other altcoins. Before, the funding rate for Polygon was quite constantly in the positive territory. So there were more longs than shorts. It costs money to bet on rising prices of Polygon. This has now switched. Now we tend to see negative funding rates most of the time. There are more shorts than longs. More people are betting on falling prices than on rising prices. Why is that? Because all of the longs have already lost their entire capital and they are not coming back anytime soon. The speculators that lost their money on the 10th of October, they felt defrauded. They didn't lose their money because they bet on the wrong altcoin. They lost their money because the pricing system didn't work properly. And that was mainly an issue with Binance that then rolled over to all the other exchanges as well. And so because of that, the speculative capital that's in Polygon Matic on that day crashed massively. So the open interest, the amount of bets on Polygon Matic went from 130 million down to 73 million. And again, that money did not come back. And what I believe happened here with Polygon Matic is that since this negative trend in Matic is so constant that the average retail investor simply just added more and more short positions to that trend and made money along the way. Now all the longs got liquidated over here, only shorts are left. And so the market makers bought up a lot of the Polygon Matic supply. And they're now short squeezing of the people that are betting on falling prices. So first there was all the longs that got liquidated. Now it's all the shorts that got liquidated. The market is going the path of maximum pain. The trading volume is also at record levels, again indicating potential short-term market manipulation. Yes, the news and the new project is great, but it's not really worth that much price appreciation. It's just a plan. And so my plan with the Matic token is very clear. I think that this rally at some point will stop and that we will see continued selling pressure again. So I'm simply waiting for the turnaround. Once the short squeeze ends, then I will enter a short position as well. All the longs got liquidated, many shorts are currently getting liquidated. At some point there will be equilibrium again, and that's the time when I will enter my short position. I will of course enter a relative short, so I'll bet on falling POL prices and at the same time rising Bitcoin prices. Then we're getting this performance over here, right? This is Bitcoin relative to Matic. And when this is dipping, then Bitcoin is underperforming Matic, or in other words, Matic has a rally. That's also what we currently see. And I do expect there's a good chance this long-term trend prevails and that Bitcoin is going to outperform Matic at some point again. Will this happen directly right now? Are we going to see a bit more of a short squeeze and will we then see the recovery? It's very hard to say. In the past, we have seen the turnaround pretty much at the current price levels. But I'm just waiting. This is just the Polygon Matic price. I'm waiting for the current rally to see a relatively clear turnaround, maybe once we are at 16 cents or so. And then I will bet on falling prices. At the same time, of course, rising prices of Bitcoin. I want to play the delta. I do not want to get caught up in the correlation of the general market. If all of crypto is going up, then POL of course can go up as well. It might simply just go up less than the rest. If it's the first time here, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. Feel free to also check out the premium membership. This is where I share my own trades, where you can also automatically copy trade me. A link to premium pops up here on the screen. See you next time on YouTube or see you on premium. Cheers.